Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. In today's video we will be discussing a serious thing going on in Ukraine. But before we get into it, make sure you guys like this video, comment your thoughts down below, subscribe, join the Fact Army, and let's get into it. Russia has launched their offensive. I would say they've launched it. They've been advancing all throughout the front lines, all throughout the five places where they've attacked. However, they have not attacked in Avdiivka, just bombing. I believe it's because, not only because the Ukrainians inflicted some damage on the Russians, but because the Russian supplies were basically disturbed when the Ukrainians blew up this bridge that, according to some, had 50% of Russia's logistics going through it. Ukrainians have yet to advance, but that's kind of a common thing now. Russia has been pushing the Ukrainians back in the Robotyne sector, but no advancements for today. What we are talking about today is the Kherson, okay? So, according to some Russian pro-Russian military bloggers, they said Kyiv is doing a total mobilization. They did not specify whether it would be men and women or just men. However, I would think it would just be men. So they're doing a total mobilization according to these pro-Russian military bloggers. And why would that be? Would it be to continue this debacle of an offensive on these fronts? I don't think so. I think Ukraine has not said so publicly, but I think Ukraine knows they've been defeated. The summer counteroffensive was a failure, and I think Ukraine is starting to recognize that. That's why we see no Ukrainian advancements in the Robotyne area by Vorobe or by Novoprovka. No more. I think Ukraine has admitted defeat there. Okay, around Bakhmut we see little to no advancements, and we don't see any advancements on the other fronts. The only people who have seized the opportunity and seized the initiative have been the Russians. So why would Ukraine do a total mobilization? To plug the gaps and to refill the ranks. Why though? Ukraine, according to some estimates, has up to 1 million to 500,000 men. And this would be to plug the gap, fill the ranks for the casualties that will happen in the Kherson offensive, I guess you could call it. The Ukrainian attack in the Russian occupied area of Kherson. Ukraine's already starting to move brigades, marine brigades that fought in places like Regina to the Kherson Oblast and even over here, but ready for this attack. There have been reports from pro-Russian military bloggers of Ukraine changing some of the units' names to Omaha, and speeches from Normandy, those famous speeches from the Normandy landings. So we all know Kherson is the least defended area. This does not mean that the Ukrainians are just going to sweep through this. This does not mean it's going to be a Kharkiv counteroffensive. This could end up to be another debacle like the rest of the summer counteroffensive for the Ukrainians. Okay. However, the Ukrainians, if they do manage to capture, let's just say some miracle happens and they manage to capture all the Kherson Oblast that the Russians occupy, they can ditch Melitopol. They can ditch their dreams for Tokmak because they have cut off the Russian supply to Crimea. And no matter what anybody else would say, that would be a major blow to the Russians. Because Crimea, first off, the Russians invaded southern Ukraine via Crimea, a large portion via Crimea. They took what they have in Kherson via Crimea. They took Zaporozhye Oblast, what they have right now, through Crimea by sending troops through Crimea. So that would be a massive blow to the Russians. However, many pro-Ukrainians would rejoice at this. Oh, this is going to be the thing they've all been waiting for the Ukrainians to do some glorious victory. And that may not happen. This could be a victory, a costly one. This could be a defeat, a costly defeat. Ukraine wants a victory. Volodymyr Zelensky needs a victory because he needs the West to continue their support. And no matter how strong NATO is, no matter how much money they have, the West, America in particular, United States, United Kingdom, Germany, France, the main suppliers of Ukraine, are not going to like being on the losing side. They could have all the money in the world. They're not going to want to supply a losing ally in this. So he needs a victory. Volodymyr Zelensky needs a victory. Ukraine needs a victory to keep the NATO aid, the United States aid flowing in. Especially with this conflict with Israel, where the United States could ditch Ukraine and settle with a victory in Israel and kind of overshadow the defeat in Ukraine with a victory in Israel. all that Ukraine needs a victory. So Ukraine is going to, some people say as early as before October 20th. Some people say definitely before November. Ukraine will launch their attack. The Royal Marines have trained Ukrainian Marines in river crossings. So I believe this will happen. I believe it will happen. We will see it start before November. Obviously, Zelensky has promised Tokmak, Bakhmut, and another city, which he did not publicly say. He promised to capture them before the end of the year, so he is really going to have to step up his game. And the Ukrainians, I think, are doing a last assault. I think desperation is driving that, and that could have some consequences, because with desperation usually comes dramatic decisions, not thinking things all the way through, and that could have severe consequences for the Ukrainian war effort. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, join the Fact Army. Again, YouTube, I do not condone violence or killing of any kind. I'm simply reporting on the facts going on in this unfortunate conflict. Bye.